with spirit. As Cheryl said yesterday, it's not all tree hugging and wearing tie-dye stuff. If you want to do that, brilliant. But there's so much more to it, isn't it? Especially when it comes to your body and understanding that connection and how you heal. So
it's all an energetic connection. It's all about energetic connection, whichever route you might go down in terms of homeopathy, Reiki, any of them. So when Yvette asked me to do this, I was really not sure. Like, no thanks, Yvette. No, you're all right.
it was resistance.
Why would I want to do this with lockdown hair and frankly a lockdown brain at the moment as well? And then I did have quite a laugh. I had quite a laugh to myself because I was going, oh no, I can't possibly be in front of a camera. And then I realised that actually I have been before, and it was really quite a biggie. There was a local lady producer, and she was making a film called Babes in the Wood, all about our local birthing centre. And I really wanted to get over how brilliant pregnancy and birth homeopathy is and how heinous induction is, how it should never be allowed. And so I volunteered and ended up having Evie's water birth filmed. So actually I have been on film before I've been on telly, not the gory bits, but lots of swearing and lots of bleeping. So it seems
how did this start with you then? How did you even get interested in wanting to understand what homeopathy is?
Well, my mum was filled with conventional meds for quite some time, for most of her life, and she died quite young. And I am convinced that was because she was, a walking, talking chemical time bomb, basically.
Really?
So I think I've always had that, focus towards a natural route. But the honest answer is I had a really successful career in London for years in advertising and marketing, got sick of that. My kids are probably watching this, so I best not tell them why. But anyway, oh, hang on, we need to restart your computer. No, you freaking don't. Not right now. Yeah. Okay. Another techie go wrong.
Anyway, guys, if you were the computer, would you dare ignore and just do it anyway? Like I wouldn't. Like no, just kick out.
Yeah, so I did. I had a big backpacking year. Came back, and I was supposed to be finding myself, and I didn't. I just had a great time. And then on the plane on the way home, I thought, oh shit, I better have found myself. What am I going to do? And my boss took me out for dinner with a load of people ready to get me back in to do that, ball breaking job again. And the universe sat me next to his wife at the dinner, and she'd just finished training as a homeopath. And I knew I wanted to do something helping people. But I had no clue what, and I just sat there with my chin, going, that sounds interesting, whatever, and ended up doing the course. And I just thought, what the hell have I got to lose? First year's fees if I don't like it or I'm no good at it or whatever. But it was very leveling and very interesting because whereas I thought I was the bee's knees and I was something because I'd been a company director, blah blah, all that rubbish. Actually, you were totally on a level. I went for that interview with my knees knocking because I just thought, oh my God, like I know nothing about any of this. I might be able to sling an ad campaign together, but it's to sell a bit of beer. But this is a whole new world. But again, interestingly, gosh, now I think back on it, the universe had ideas, and the lady who interviewed me for my degree, as it was course, had been a director at Ogilvy and Mather, a big London advertising agency. So she knew exactly where I was coming from. Anyway, that's a load of blah about that.
But it's not. That just shows you, doesn't it? Like you had set that intention, that rocket of desire, as Abraham Hicks would call it. Like I just want to do something else, and this isn't doing it. You had like a burning desire to change without really being clear on what that was, and kaboosh. Next thing you know,
that was years ago, and I think an interesting life lesson now is that I was all ready to go, oh, right, I don't do that anymore. I'm not that nasty marketing person anymore. I do all this lovely healy stuff over here. And actually what the universe has brought me is those things all merging together in kind of, where I am now.
Where you are now.
What's happened is it's gone too much the other way. So I'm marketing manager for a group of natural health clinics. Which I love, and I'm very proud of what we do. But I have not been practicing for quite a while, and I want to, I want to come back and basically do
into
that.
Balance of your practice. So tell us, what is homeopathy, like in layman's terms?
Well, in layman's terms, it's very simply remedies made from a number of different substances. which all have an energetic resonance. So everything, whether be it a plant, be it a flower, be it a bit of snake skin, whatever it is, has all got an energetic resonance. So when you take something that matches the symptoms that you have, the remedy stimulates your body to rebalance from that symptom, from what you're putting in, and at the same time it rebalances from your underlying symptoms that you have. I mean, that's it in kind of a nutshell. It's very natural, it doesn't have any side effects. But the key to it all, and I don't do the healing, you do, it's all about self-regulation, self-balance. All I'm doing is choosing the right selection, the right balance of remedies to help your body rebalance itself at an energetic cellular level, because unless you clear that trauma out of those cells, you're never going to truly heal. So it's about getting right to the core of someone, and then looking, I think you said somewhere along the line, and you were absolutely spot on, your issues are in your tissues. You carry it, you carry that trauma in your cells, and it might not even be trauma. There's obviously very obvious trauma, but there's also trauma that people have had that perhaps isn't necessarily that obvious to them, but they carry it and carry it. And until you clear that, you're never truly going to be well. So I mean, I don't know if you, oh, sorry, go on.
No, so explain like how we carry it then. Have you got any examples just to help bring it to life for people? Because this is so important of how they could use this, rather than, because the natural thing now is we don't feel good, we have low mood, we go to the doctor, you're given a prescription, you're then on that medication. And somebody actually said to me last week, I'm actually anxious just about coming off the medication. It's the medication that's making you anxious, rather than what was actually the issue in the first place.
I think one of this for me is all about the probably the absolute worst thing that you can do for your health. One, the emotional stuff carries a far greater weight than the physical stuff. I mean, it's really important to do all of the good physical stuff, but yourself, if you're out of whack emotionally, it affects everything. So it's really, really, really important to focus on that and to get to the heart of what's going on with that. And I think what Cheryl said, what she put a post up last week, whatever, which was brilliant, which was your physical body is a reflection of your subconscious mind. And that's so true. So, sorry, I've forgotten the question. I've winged around in circles, but I mean, do you mind me talking about your kind of real person example?
No, because I think this was how we thought you would be great to have on as well, because it really resonated, didn't it? So talk us through that.
Yeah. So when you talked so very bravely a week before last, I think it was, in Mental Health Awareness Week, about your depression. And I can't help it. My brain works in remedies and triggers and causations, because that's just the way it does. And I was really quite excited to think, gosh, how I could have helped, or actually how you can help, because you can go back and unpick at a cell level what's gone on years and years before, because your body's still carrying it. So you just put the remedy in, it clears it. So so one of the words you said, which made me think, oh gosh, wow, were all about lifting the big black cloud. And that matches a homeopathic remedy called Aurum, which is also, interestingly but not surprisingly, indicated for the energetic resonance around fear of failure, which again, it really didn't surprise me when that came up later in your story about your course. Because that remedy would have cleared those things for you, and they're usually quite often linked. And then you talked about the fear surges being like an emotional tsunami. And that sort of panic attack type state is something that you'd want to give patients what I call kind of handbag homeopathy for, i.e. something you've always got there, that in a case of, when those feelings come over you, you've got something you can use. So a bit like Dr. Bach's rescue remedy, which quite a lot of people might have heard of, which you can get off the shelf, but it would be far more potent, because the whole key is that you're prescribing individually. So if you go and see the doctor and he comes out with his nasty chemicals, it's the same one for everything. You're going to get the same thing regardless. But you're so different from Cheryl, from Yvette, from Sarah, hello girls, from whoever, completely different. So the same drugs are not going to help. Anyway, so you would.
But that's because I think in our medicine, so like in Western medicine, for me, from my understanding, that's because the doctor's always ever treating the symptom, rather than what was
The cause.
causing. Yeah, that's
The underlying cause. You have to get to the underlying cause. Yeah. And what they're not only treating the symptom, they're suppressing the symptoms. So the worst thing you can do is suppress. You know, we all know, we all do it. It's like, oh, I'll park that. I'll deal with that later. You know, don't fancy that one right now. It looks a bit horrible. But conventional medicine just suppresses, whether that's you know, steroid cream on your skin, suppresses the symptoms. Surprise, they come back later worse because you've not in any way dealt with what's
you're just
underneath.
getting rid of the symptoms. So this is all about getting to the root cause.
And individualizing. So Dr. Bach's rescue remedy you'd get off the shelf, it will do a job. It's natural, thank God, you know, so that's good. But if you individualize, it might be that, you know, extreme fear and adrenal glands going la la and adrenaline spikes are your thing, you know, in your emotional tsunami. Might be completely different from somebody else. I mean, those ones tend to be similar. And that, as we said, the reason that everything comes to a head is that long-term emotional suppression is one of the worst things you can do. So I think
you're just like a volcano, aren't you? It's like Vesuvius. You're just like that pressure cooker. You're just putting it down, and it's
like
gonna come out.
That needs lancing. And you, I think you said, you know, that's not possible. I'm a happy person, and that was you denying those, suppressing. And then it's interesting because then the mind-body connection in action, the body's so clever, and it manifests physical symptoms because you weren't listening. You weren't going to listen to those emotional ones because you couldn't. Bless you. So
I just didn't have I didn't put them together, Wendy, and I think that's a lot of. I think when I see a lot of women who are burnt out, and men, but women predominantly, just what I know in corporate, is they don't. I remember we had one client who had her own business, very successful, but every Sunday, she would get really severe, intense migraines, like debilitating. And until we said to her, we could see, hates her business, feels like it's shackling her, getting horrific migraines on the night before she goes back to work. But she just didn't put together the migraine was a body telling her that what the stress was doing from the business. She just didn't. Like maybe we were sitting going, you get the migraine on a Sunday, you go to bed. Just didn't put it, and I didn't. In my body, these pains in my stomach and lack of appetite and not sleeping, it didn't occur to us that it was anything to do with depression.
Yeah, but your body was going, listen to me, listen, and if you won't listen, and like the example with the migraine, I've had patients who've had migraines and like almost like a facial palsy, you know, they're really in pain. But that's because that means then people will say to them, oh, are you okay? What's the matter with you? Whereas otherwise, just keep on going. So it gets you to a point, sometimes where sort of sadly, you know, you can't. But the body's very, very clever, and there are remedies to help with gently releasing those suppressed emotions, because you have to do it gently, and especially if it's been there kind of a long time. But true wellness is only going to come when you get to that core and clear it. And then you know, there are trauma clear remedies that are made from, one thing that a lot of people possibly will have heard of is arnica, and everybody just thinks, oh, arnica equals
bruising.
Emotional bruising. Think emotional bruising.
Wow. Okay.
And there's a couple of others that go alongside it for deep fear, and there's one called Star of Bethlehem that's all about what we call never been well since. So if you've never been well since a particular X, Y, or Z, you put those 3 remedies in combination and it helps to clear it. So that never been well since is something that we're always looking for, like the rock that's gone into the pond that's caused the ripples. What was that? What is that? How do we clear that? And then when you clear that, you find that etiology, you match the curative remedies with the same energetic resonance, clear it out, bish bash bosh. I'm making that sound very easy. It's not necessarily, but it's you as in you know, Yal, whoever takes it. I
love that. It's like going back to when the stone went in the pond, wasn't it? When was the last time you felt good?
Yeah.
And then what happened, and then working from there. I'm just going to check, because I think I had some questions as well. Yvette was saying, do you find in your consultation you end up counselling people then, or do you talk through the remedy and how it will root out the trauma?
No, I mean, I'm happy to explain the remedies if people want to know them. It's very transparent, but no, absolutely. Counseling, call it what you will, counseling, coaching, chatting, yapping, whatever. Yeah, but it's all about the connection and
Mm,
people feeling safe and secure to do that. And actually, I
mm.
had an interesting thing when I trained. You know what you're like when you're training, and you're God about a million years ago, because I'm so old, and you're training,
Oh,
and you think this is how I'm going to run my practice, and I'm going to have people sitting in this sort of room, and and me, I designed the room before I'd done anything else. Blah blah
oh
blah.
yeah, and we get the brand colours, don't we? We get the
Yeah,
brand colours.
all
We've
of
got
that.
no
Yeah,
idea how we're going to price anything.
pink and green, heart chakra colours, yeah, all of that jazz. And if you'd ever told me that I would be doing consultations on the end of a phone, no, I need to see people and feel them. But actually, completely not. And I had a very interesting case in Brighton years ago. I was seeing this girl, and she had a lot of cycle issues, which are often related to emotional stuff. The energetic link in Chinese medicine is direct between the heart and the uterus. And we got her a certain way, cycle was a bit better than it had been, but we just didn't ever clear it. And then I moved over here to the New Forest. And so our next consultation was on the phone. And it was only when she was on the end of the phone and not face to face that she was able to tell me that she'd had a long history of abuse,
Mm,
and that all came out. And then we were able
mm.
to work through that. And so actually, that coaching and that supporting can happen any which way, whatever's best, I guess, for the patient.
Wow,
So it's
that's
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Everyone's just feeling so inspired as well, Wendy. And
Oh,
then
bless.
Yvette asked another question. Do you have to do anything along with the remedies to make them work? Or do you just take the remedy and then trust that your body's going to know like what to do with it?
Well, the honest answer to that is that the remedies work with your vital force or your chi, or I'm sorry, that has a lovely Kundalini word for that, whatever. Um,
Mm,
so the stronger you are with all the other good things you can do in terms, all the other where all the other lunchtime lives have been, in terms of nutrition and sleep and
mm-hmm,
hydration and everything else, are probably going to make your body respond more quickly because your energy
mm-hmm,
is higher. Back to energy again, back to a high resonance.
mm.
But in a way, because these things work brilliantly with animals. I mean, I'm not allowed I'm not strictly speaking, I shove them in my dog all the time, but I'm not strictly speaking supposed to treat animals. Animals have no clue of what they should do to make them work, and they still work. So, sorry that I'm wittering, but the point
No,
is they're going to work anyway, whatever you
yeah,
do. If you do good things, they'll work more quickly because
yeah,
your resonance is higher. Does that make
got
sense?
you. It does, yeah. So chi is basically the energy force that in any like cultural background, like you said, it's got this priya and chi and all, but it's basically like your energy, isn't it? How it moves around your body. That's my understanding.
Yeah. Sorry, and I've just seen Tina's question. I don't know why it's
Yes.
coming up for me,
Do
but
you
it
find
is.
the remedies only help if they believe them?
Yeah, and I guess Tina, I think that's the same thing. Is that
Mm,
I guess with anything, if somebody's believing and being positive, their energy, their chi is going to be higher. Therefore, quite possibly, you know, they will work more quickly. But in a way, they'll work despite you. If you think, oh, this is a load of old fluff, take arnica as a very very basic entry level example. If you think this is a load of old nonsense, but you've got a big bruise on your head, one of those egg head things. I've seen
yes.
arnica, literally the egg goes down in front of your eyes. So yeah, you can try it with something physical and sort of see. And often that's the thing, is people come to you for a physical reason, but really underlying is the emotional stuff, and that's what I want to focus on with Heartful Homeopathy.
So I was just going
So
to say, so tell us like how, because you said, didn't you, you've gone too far almost in the, not corporate, but the job side of it. And this is about, you've really discovered over the last few months, you've been doing some deep internal work yourself. And I know you've been working with us in some of our programs, which has been amazing. And you've said like, it's time to redress, isn't it? And you just know what you want to do, which is so
yeah,
exciting.
I want to set up. No, I will. Sorry, let's do law of
You
attraction.
are.
I will. I bloody well will set
You
up.
bloody well are,
Oh,
darling.
freaking on. We're going to set up a heartfulness business online, and initially my start point was going to be teaching law of attraction courses locally here, and vision boarding days and all that sort of stuff. But then the big old COVID word took over, and lockdown happened. But that brought me Donna and Cheryl. So how fantastic is all that? I'm loving lockdown. Thank you very much. So then I basically have decided that what I'm going to do is offer an inner immunity 21-day challenge, and heartful homeopathy, probably come October. Although I was laughing myself this morning thinking, yeah, right, now Donna and Cheryl are on the case. That'll probably be for next week or this afternoon. I'll just pop it out this afternoon in amongst everything else. No, that's the plan, is to offer that, because I think immunity in the current in the pandemic and everything else is absolutely vital, and emotional immunity again beats everything else hands down. So if your emotional immunity is flat, you're 3 times more likely to get a virus.
I love this. Just like, if I was Oprah, I would say tweet them more like your emotional immunity. People don't think of that. People think in terms of, I'll get my physical self sorted out and I'll do my diet, my exercise, and then I'll worry about like all me other it's like, it's one and the same, isn't it?
It's absolutely key. I mean, I would take the current nonsense, sorry, forgive me, but the bloody nonsense of stay alert, control the virus, save lives, as if a virus is something that flies in from God knows where and attacks you. It's all about your underlying susceptibility and your immunity and your soil, as it were. I think it's stay alert, control your own immunity, save your own life, take responsibility for your health. I mean, my view of the NHS is fantastic, but fantastic for emergency medicine and necessary surgery. But I would say, don't overburden the NHS. Don't use it. Take responsibility. There are natural solutions for absolutely everything. Sorry, that was my soapbox, wasn't it? I'll get off that now.
But it's so true. I mean, I think I said this when I was on the live the other week. It doesn't. So if something's wrong with me, I go to our like holistic practice clinic that we use, who have like people who do everything, and we're so lucky because it's local to us. It doesn't occur to me anymore to go to the doctor. Like my first instinct is to get somebody who, like, I always remember Max, my acupuncture guy, this amazing Chinese guy, saying like, in Western medicine, people don't touch you until they're taking you to surgery. Like, how can they know what's wrong with you? And I go on about this all the time, but it's so true. They'll sit opposite a desk and give you a prescription. And this medicine that you're using, these remedies, have been around for like thousands of years, haven't we? And our medical science is like teeny tiny, like a couple of 100 years tops.
And Hippocratic oath: first do no harm. First do no harm. The fourth cause of death in hospitals is adverse drug reactions, behind heart disease, stroke, and cancer.
Well, it happened to me once. I was actually in hospital. I'd been there for 3 days, nil by mouth, waiting for a scan because I had gallbladder issues, and I was quite young when I had them. And they gave me something without testing, and that it turned out I was highly allergic to. And my body's response was, they said it was like we'd injected heroin into your heart. That was literally how my body responded. And I was just so lucky because I couldn't even call for help. One of the other women on the ward noticed I was bad and hit the buzzer. And before you knew it, and even when I had Caleb, like I said, that was a traumatic birth because somebody gave me something that another doctor had said no to. That doctor went on lunch and the other doctor walked in, was all blasé. Yeah, give her it. And boom, that was it.
I hate to say this, my darling, and I'm not doing my heartful homeopathy till October, despite you two. You need some trauma clear remedy on a lot of level. Just
feel
clear that. Well, you've got trauma,
I know.
Which is what makes you so inspiring and so brilliant at what you're doing now. But that trauma needs clearing, because otherwise you'll just keep going back to it anyway. Sorry, that was that's kind of an aside.
I often go to people and say, like, just tell me what I need to heal, because I'm aware that there must be stuff going on at all different levels in my tissues that have become trapped and not released. So if somebody wants to work with you, or like, I really want you to talk to my mom, and like, how do we do that, Wendy? Like, how do people reach you? Can they work with you yet, or are you still saying in October there'll be a people are saying October's too far away.
Yeah, just wait. To be honest, that's not very forward planning of me to have thought about that. I mean, people of course could get in touch now. I'm not kind of teeing it all up. I've just seen Cheryl. Donna has issues in her tissues.
I've got issues in my tissues, Cheryl. Like Wendy's telling you something that you already know, right?
Yeah, so I will be kind of setting it all up, because I do want to do it properly, in that I think there's, as Yvette said, I think there's a lot in the Heartful Homeopathy that needs to, I need to really get to know someone, and that needs to be an in-depth consultation. So I want to do that kind of properly and well. But if people have any immediate stuff, of course, I'm here to help people. That's my job. So that's
So
what I
if they
want to do.
would you like them to connect with you through Facebook, or do you have an email that you'd like to share with them that we can put the link on after the live later
Yeah,
on?
I'll stick a link up, a link or one of those, an email. Yeah, as you can see, I need to get my head going on tech before I get anywhere as well. Yeah, so I'm going to do an an inner immunity challenge, which will be based on heartful breathing, which I'm trying to encourage people to stop, heart connect, re-energize, because I think everything comes from your emotional heart, from your energetic heart. So I'm going to be doing that, and it's going to be sort of everyday breathing, and then life lessons. Yvette, go away. I just seen your message. Yeah, I can, darling, but I'm a tad busy. No, that's that's going to be all about helping people through, and that will be heavily based in the law of attraction.
That's amazing. I'm so excited.
So yeah, that's kind of coming up, and Heartful Homeopathy, and I think that might probably just do me, which is fab. I'm very excited about those two things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I think anyone who's thinking about it needs to reach out to you, email you, and at least have a chat with you, Wendy, to get on the right path, and certainly to kind of get registered, ready for when you're raring to go with your amazing new business.
Well, I just would encourage everyone to just think natural first. Try and think natural first. Do your research. Reach out to people, talk to other people, because it's all of it is about kind of individual people and finding the right person to for you. Because not everybody will be able to support you. But I think that you need to think natural first.
Definitely natural first.
Yeah,
Love
there's
it.
always a solution. Always a solution.
I can't believe how fast that's gone. That is crazy. I could talk to you literally all day about this.
Well, we could carry on messing up a bit of technology between us as well.
Oh, guys, honestly, so if there's any questions that you've got later when you're watching this, especially if you're watching it on #replay, just drop them in. Make sure you tag Wendy, and I know she'll drop in later on tomorrow and take a look at your questions. And Wendy will post your email address on the comments here as well. But everybody has loved this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, thank you for giving me the opportunity, and thank you a lot, Yvette, for stitching me up, you darling person. And lovely Yvette and Sarah, who've been my real fan. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be thinking, okay, I need to bring my homeopathy back out and all that stuff. So they've been fabulous and gorgeous goddesses. So
what would we do without our girls?
I know. I know.
Right. Thanks, Soul System. See you soon.
Thank you so much.